Jai Sri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
This chapter 7 deals with Gyan of Nirgun Brahma, which does not manifest. The Nirgun Brahma pervades all at all times. It also deals with the manifest, this chapter also deals with manifest divinity, which we will call the Prakriti, both Apara and the Para. The Apara is what we see, and the Para is what manages it and sustains it. When Ishwar takes avatar, he appears in his Prakriti like a bubble rises in the water. Last time in Shlok 4, 5 and 6, Bhagavan explained to Arjun that the sansar is made up of his apara or the jada prakriti, which is eightfold in nature. It's called Ashtadha Prakriti. Besides, there is his para prakriti also. That is also called Chetan Prakriti, which sustains the Jagat. So without Chetan, the Jad or the body is unable to act. It is the Chetan which is behind all activities of this Jagat. We also saw that there are similarities between the Jeev and Ishwar, and both are unable to perform karma. Such is their swarup. They do not have the current to perform karma. The activities of the Parbrahm are due to association with the Maya Sarup. And upon manifesting in Jagat, whatever Jeev does is due to its association with the mind, intellect, and senses. Behind all these, the powers are those of the various devatas or the Paraprakriti. The basis for all of his, that is Jeev, his desires, is avidya or the ignorance mixed with his swarup, like the ink mixes with water. And the matitraya, which is due to the avidya. And matitraya, we saw that matitraya means the tendency to always go down. You do not try to go higher. All that happens in the Jagat is performed by the Paraprakriti. There is a hierarchy among all devatas. The higher power exercises control over those which are under them. In Paraprakriti, Maya is the top Shakti, which is also called the Chaitanya Devata. This means the Devata which imparts consciousness or Chetanta, that is Maya. The Maya or the consciousness is present in everything in the sansar. The level of consciousness in terms of the quality and quantity go hand in hand. How much consciousness there is in certain jeeves, and some other things do not have very high consciousness. It all varies. We will go a little bit into this now. Some time ago, I came across a book entitled Stalking the Wild Pendulum. In it, the author has tried to explain the consciousness in terms of the quality and quantity of the consciousness. The author defines the consciousness simply as the capacity of a system. It could be a nervous system or could be some matter. For example, upon application of a stimulus to an atom through UV rays or through radiation, other radiation, one or more electrons may get excited into a higher orbit farther away from its nucleus. Upon removing the stimulus, the electron may drop back and emit photons of certain energy or frequency. In this process, So we'll show you a figure which is from the book. So I hope you can see it. In here, the author is showing the different quantities of consciousness. How much, what is the capacity to interact, to, he's saying the quantity of consciousness is information handling capacity of a system. It could be human beings or it could be any system in this sansar. And on the other axis here, he is showing the quality of the response. It's called quality of the consciousness. Now, if you provide a stimulus to any matter or any living thing, it will always respond with certain result of the stimulus. It will perform in such a way that it will be different for different materials. And that is right here. What is the quality? So he says, for example, the atom has very narrow band of consciousness, very little consciousness in it. So it can only produce very little response to the stimulus, very low response. And then as you go to higher form, which is then becomes like a virus can provide higher level of response to a stimulus. Of course, the stimulus provided to virus will be different than what you can provide to the atom. Then he says, go next step, go to bacteria. You can tickle the bacteria and the bacteria will respond in different way. Totally different than what virus is going to respond or what the atom has responded. Then from there, the higher life form becomes like a plant. The plant will respond totally different to this stimulus. And you can only apply certain stimulation to the plant. Plant can be irradiated and then plant will have mutations in it. So, or plant can be exposed to a drought and the plant will respond to that drought. So that is the quantity and the quality of consciousness. Now after that, you go to four-legged animals. Their response is totally different. If you bother, a cow will come after you. Okay, that's a different response. And every living thing has, they respond to their own safety. They think that somebody is going to hurt them, so they respond that way. And then beyond this four-legged animals is human being. So human being has got a fully developed consciousness. So that the quantity is way up somewhere here, higher than anything else that exists in this world. And the frequency is also much higher, and it's a wider band of frequency. It can respond in totally different ways. Why so? Because human beings have mind, intellect, and senses, and they respond to the stimulus provided to their senses, and the mind goes into action and goes on and on. That's how they respond. So their quality of consciousness is much higher, much better. Then beyond that, human beings, he is showing emotional or astral reality. Emotions they are higher than the human beings. Then, because those emotions end up controlling the human beings. After that comes mental reality. So people can go into mano yoga, mental reality. So they can start controlling their mind and act differently. These are all different type of realities. Then after mental reality, he says there is intuitive reality, intuition working there. So this human being, the Jeev in human being is rising higher and higher and higher level of consciousness. So people say we worship higher consciousness. Okay? So higher the consciousness, more those entities are revered. So if you get Mano Yoga, he has got control of his mind, his thinking is totally controlled. So he is much higher than a common human being. After the mental reality, he is going up and at the end goes to spiritual reality. Spiritual reality is Atma Yoga kind of thing. Okay? So he is one with the spirit now. He has left the mundane physical existence and he is in the spiritual level. And so go on further and keep going up, and in the end is absolute. The total consciousness in the universe or the creation is limited, but the absolute is unlimited. So absolute controls the Maya or the consciousness in this sansar. So if you look at this way, the highest consciousness is Maya. And then slowly it will get less, and less. And go to the end, go to Jal, go to the atomic level. It is totally different. Much less and lower quality. I hope this makes really interesting way to understand what consciousness is. Consciousness, he says, is ability to respond to a stimulus. If certain entity cannot respond to the stimulus, then there is no consciousness in it. But looking at this diagram, this concept, you can see even the atom has a consciousness. You can stimulate the atom and it will react. That means there is consciousness in the atom. So, if we go point further, we see atom, then comes virus, then bacteria, then animals. You got birds and then four-legged animals. So when a higher consciousness like human being tries to kill or give pain, inflict pain on anything which is lower than, he cannot do anything above him. He has no capacity to inflict pain on the being which is higher than him. But he can always inflict pain and even to kill them, the lower form of life. So they don't think about it, like killing an animal. There is a consciousness there, which you are disturbing. And when you do that, then that consciousness is coming straight from Maya, Chetan Devata. And then Maya will punish the person, the entity which is causing, inflicting pain. So that is what Hinsa comes into play. It's all you have to be responsible and answerable to every action. So this goes further and further, but this is what I hope you can see it. If not, then I can get a copy to everybody. So he's saying that when the atom emits photon of certain energy or frequency, in this process, now we apply stimulus to a virus or bacteria, the response will be of a different level or quality, since the quantity of consciousness is higher in these organisms. And in case of plants, if we apply the drought to the plant will show wilting and conserve water. That is the response that plant has. The consciousness within the plant will do that. Applying colder temperature can make some plants go dormant. In tundra, the plants respond differently. In case of mammals, the humans, the number of possible responses grow rapidly at a very faster rate. So you saw that curve is like a parabolic curve. So the author defines the number of responses as the quantity of consciousness. Our thinking as human is biased. It really is biased. We humans think that for anything to be living, there has to be reproduction. That is what generally people think. However, if we look closely, we will find that building block of all things we label as living are the same. Like everything which is we call living is built out of the same building blocks. And at the bottom, you keep going down and down, you find atomic level, molecular level. So they are there. And each of these building particle, has its own consciousness, which changes its form as the organism becomes more organized and complicated. The consciousness of the Prakriti or the Prakriti manifests differently in different organisms. Thus, using the definition of this author, we can understand that there is consciousness in each and every building block, and the number of responses or the quantity of consciousness increases rapidly as the organism evolves into a higher level. The author also says that there is a relationship between the quantity of consciousness and the kind of response which can occur. He calls this as quality of consciousness. This defines the degree of refinement of such response. So in where there is higher level of consciousness, the degree of response is much more refined. This can also be equated with the intelligence of the response. So higher level of consciousness, the response is more intelligent response. In the diagram, we see that as the quantity of consciousness, the information handling capacity increases, the frequency level of the response increases much rapidly. The absolute has no limit. The absolute is called Anant. Anant meaning having no end. And where there is no end, there is no beginning also. The absolute is the source of all consciousness. This is what Bhagavan said to Arjun in Shlok 6. Bhagavan said that all creation happens through my two Prakriti, and that I am the source of the entire creation, and this creation disappears into me upon dissolution. So the consciousness is pulled away, and everything is what you call pralaya coming there. Dissolution happens. And then creation starts again when the consciousness is released again. We learned that the Paraprakriti is superior to Aparaprakriti, and the Parmeshwar is superior to the Paraprakriti. So, is there someone superior to the Parmeshwar? That's the question comes up. Bhagavan explains this in the next shlok.
Mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre maniganaiva.
He says, Dhananjay, O Arjun, parataram matam, beyond me, the Paramatma, anyat kinchit asti na. There is anyone else is not there. That means beyond me, the Paramatma, there is nothing else. Mai sarva midam proktam. In me, this entire jagat is strung. And how it is strung? Ev sutre managani. Like a string that the row of jewels the string goes through a row of jewels and strings them. That is how Manigana, jewel, the group of jewel, is sutre, is strung through this a thread or sutra, and that is how this whole creation is. I am in the whole creation. Bhagavan says that all entities which make up the sansar. Now, what are these all entities which make up this sansar? These are Jeev, Devta, and Prapanch. All these are strung in the Parmeshwar Sarup. So Parmeshwar Sarup is there like a string going through these Manigana, these jewels, 3 jewels. It is the Parmeshwar Sarup which provides power and support to all 3 so that they can perform their action. Like a necklace is there because of the string that thread the beads. Similarly, Parmeshwar Sarup pervades all in the sansar. The para and apara prakriti and jeev are all sustained by Sarv Vyapak and the Sarv Atmak Dharma of the Parmeshwar Sarup. The example of the flywheel applies here. Like a flywheel supplies power to all smaller wheels, it is the Parmeshwar Swarup which powers and sustains all entities in the sansar. The example of a necklace given by Bhagwan tells us very important aspect of this slok. And in relation to the Parmeshwar Sarup, how Parmeshwar Sarup is related to everything that exists. In necklace, the group of beads, Manigana, and the thread that holds them together could be made of same material. For example, beads are made of gold and they are threaded with a string of gold also. Or the beads are made up of yarn and the string is also made from the same yarn. This will be called a homogeneous or sajatiya necklace because both are of the same. The beads and the thread are of the same kind. In the another case, the beads and the string that hold them in the shape of a necklace could be of different material. For example, golden beads and the thread made out of yarn. This will be called heterogeneous or vijatiya. They are not the same. The one which is being held and the one which is holding are of the 2 different kind. Bhagavan says that my work is not the same as that of Jeev, Devta and Prapanch. My work is vijatiya, heterogeneous. I am in these 3, but I am not one of them. That's what this is important to understand. I am in all these 3. Like a string goes through beads, that's how I am in. But I am not one of these. If this was a sajatiya, case of sajatiya necklace, then what string goes through there will be of the same kind. But here is not the same. He said, I am separate from them and I am there to support and sustain. So what is the purpose of the thread in the necklace? Is to support and give shape to it. How do we see this? Upon death, the Chetan or the Para-Prakriti leaves the body, leaving behind the Jad or the Apara-Prakriti. As long as Para-Prakriti is in the body lives and functions. This is done through 5 prana, which are pran, Apan, Udan, Byan, or and Saman. These pran nourished by the food that we eat, and that's how the pran sustains the body. The energy is given to the pran is from the food that we eat, and it's actually not the food but the pran itself that sustains and runs the body. In all religions, the food is first offered to Bhagwan, to whosoever they believe as Bhagwan, and then taken as their prasad. Hindus, while making the offering, chant mantras for the five pran. They say Om Pranaya Swaha, Om Apanaya Swaha, Om Vyanaya Swaha, Om Udanaya Swaha, Om Samanaya Swaha. After every chant, a little bit of water is offered. These are the five Vayu which give life to the body, and the food provides the chemical energy to sustain these pran. The word Swaha means that I am making offerings to the Ishta, to their God. So the offerings are made to the five Vayu, in which the power is that of Parmeshwar. This purifies the food which we take, and this food provides nourishment to our body. In Christianity, the food is offered by reciting the grace. When the vital air, Saman Vayu, leaves the gross body, the subtle body also leaves with it. And this is what death is. So the life processes are sustained by the Shakti from Parmeshwar. Here, Bhagavan is saying that the glory or the vibhuti which you see in everything in the sansar is due to me, since it is all due to Ishwar. Ishwar's presence there. In which way? Like he says, Sutra Mani Gana Eva. Just like if that Parmeshwar Swarup is not in everything like a thread holding together and sustaining the life, nothing will exist. So Bhagavan emphasizes this in the next 5 shlokas. He is telling how you can see me. The question was how to see Paramatma. You cannot see Paramatma, but you can see Paramatma through Gyan and his Vibhuti, his glory. So he is telling where you can see his glory. So the next slok, we will start one by one.
रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दः खे पौरुषं नृषु.
Bhagavan says, O son of Kunti, I am the sapidity in water. How you see me in the water? Like sapidity in the water. Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo, the radiance in the moon and the sun. You don't see me in moon and sun, but the radiance which is there in the sun and the moon is due to me. Pranav Sarva Vedeshu, and the syllable Om in all Vedas. This is because of me. The power there is my power, Bhagavan says. Shabd Khe Paurusho Nushu. The sound is in the Akash, is because of me. That's my power. Without my power, sound cannot be in the ether or Akash. And the manhood in men, the power there is coming from me. So Bhagavan says, the quality, the guna of water to affect the organ of taste is me. In the absence of water, taste does not exist. And this quality of water is due to me. Water without water has also a quality to wet things. And the taste, this all taste come from wetting the product. I am the radiance of the moon and the sun. I am Pranav in all Veda. Without the sacred syllable Om, there is no Shakti in Vedic mantra. And I am the Shakti in Om. So Shakti in Om is Paramatma Shakti. And because of that, the Om is in every mantra in Veda. So that's where the Shakti is coming from. That's why people chant Om all the time. From this Sarva Vyapak Shakti of Ishwar, there is the Shakti of Om in Veda. It is due to me that there is word in ether or Akash, and I am the manhood in men. Therefore, the work of Shakti or the power in everything in the sansar is due to me as the influence of my Shakti. The Sarv Vyapak and the Sarv Atmak Shakti. It's not Ishwar himself, but his Shakti. That's what is in there. So next Bhagavan says,
पुण्यो गन्धः पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसो जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु.
Bhagavan says, I am Punyo Gandha Pratibhyam, the sweet fragrance in the earth, not the rotting fragrance of the mud, but the sweet fragrance of the earth. So if you take freshly prepared earthen pot and you put water in it, it gives off certain fragrance in there. That is the fragrance of earth. Then he says, Tejasvi Vibhamvaso, the brilliance in fire. The fire has certain brilliance. And all the beauty comes from fire. And I am the Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu. I am the life in all beings. In every essence of life, which includes the 5 prana. That's what I am. And tapaswasmi tapasvishnu, the austerity of in men of ascetic. I am the tapa of all tapasvis. Without his energy, without his Shakti, there will be no effect of tap. Tap will not exist, and so the tapasvi will not be able to do anything. So the tap can be it cannot happen. Tap cannot happen without the presence of my Sarv Vyapak and Sarv Atmak Shakti. And O Parth, know me as Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam with the Parth Sanatanam.
बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनं बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम्.
The eternal seed of all beings, know me as eternal seed of all beings. And Buddhir Buddhi Matasmi. And I am the intelligence of the intelligent. The person is intelligent because of the intelligence, and that intelligence is Ishwar's Sarvyapak Sarvatmak Shakti. Tejas, and I am the glory of the glorious. He calls this, he is the glorious person. The glory there is because of Ishwar. When Bhagavan says that he is the eternal seed of all beings, that does not mean that all beings are made from him. Instead, he is saying that I am the cause for this happening. I am in all this like the thread in a cluster of beads. In all this, the importance or the mahatva is that of the guna and dharma. Ishwar's guna and dharma. That is what is acting. Without punyo gandha, earth does not exist. Without brilliance, there is no fire. Without sapidity, there is no water. And without shabd, there is no akash. So everything is said is sustained by the omnipresence, sarvyapakta of Ishwar. It's everywhere, and so his Shakti is also everywhere. All importance and greatness in the sansar is the glory and majesty, vibhuti of Ishwar. Whatever you see in sansar which is great is his glory in there. Next, Bhagavan says, the intelligence of the intelligent is due to me. The intelligence cannot be separated from the intelligent. Similarly, the glory of glorious is me.
Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha.
Bharatarshabha, O great one among Bharat. Aham, I am Balam Balvatam, the might of the mighty. Now the mighty one can also be the one who kills someone, who is lesser might is a lesser might than him. But I am not in that might. That Bal, Ishwar is not there. Why? Because that use of the might is due to the desire and attachment of the mighty one. Mighty one feels like killing something, hurting somebody. It is his desire, it is coming through his mind only. It's not originating in Prakriti, it is his mind there. So it is his. So since it is his thought, his action, Ishwar is not in it. When one does something to fulfill desire and does it for his selfishness, Bhagavan says that I am not in that. How he says? Vivarjitam. I stay away from such activities. Bhagavan does not involve into this. Such might is nindaniya or censurable. It is really not good might. It comes under tamogun. Ishwar is never going to be in tamogun. It is not praiseworthy. Such might does not win since the mind is in it. So the Ishwar is present only in satoguni might. The satoguni might or the bal is the one which is used to do good for others. Here the example is that of Mahatma Gandhi. He was a very frail, small, stature person, but he has satogun in him and he had the power of satogun working in him. In Mahabharata, the Decisive battle was that between Bhim and Duryodhan. Although Duryodhan had the blessing of Balaram, his guru, but Bhagwan helped Bhim through his Maya, which resulted in victory for Pandava. Bhim used his might properly, but not Duryodhan. So Bhagwan says that his power or samarth is only in the might which does not have desire and attachment in it. In the second part of this shlok, Bhagwan talks of Kam. Dharma vriddho bhutasu, bhuteshu says, Arjun, I am the Kam or the desire in beings, but what kind of desire? The desire which is dharma, aviruddha. That means does not oppose dharma. That kind of desire is where I am. If any desire opposes dharma, I am not in it. Satoguni with a little rajogun desire, that is dharma aviruddh desire, but not in the tamogun. So in sansar, the desire is only with satogun and rajogun. So, but that's not true. Bhagavan explains that no, that is not true. In the next shlok, he says that it is not
ये
so.
चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि.
Ye chaiva satvika bhava, whatever other entities born of the state of sattva, the quality of goodness. Ye rajastata, so he says, and those that are born of the state of rajogun, the principle of activity, and the state of tamogun, tam, the principle of inertia. Tan mat ev it viddhi. You know all those to have evolved from me alone. However, na toham teshu te mai. Neither do I exist in them, nor they in me. So Bhagavan says that all things in sansar are dependent on me. In that respect, they are in me. However, I do not depend on them, therefore I am not in them. Everything is in Parmeshwar Sarup, since all is born out of his eightfold Prakriti. However, if you will look to find Parmeshwar in that eightfold Prakriti, you will not find him in any of them. You can see my majesty and glory, Vibhuti, in all, but you cannot see me in any of them. The omnipresence or the sarvyapakta of Parameshwar is what keeps everything together in the sansar. And the power is everything is due to Sarvatmak Shakti. So Sarvyapak Shakti keeps everything together, and Sarvatmak is what provides all the power to everything. In these shlok, Bhagwan explained as to how everything of the sansar is due to him, and him alone, him being the cause of all. He is the cause of everything. He is in none of them. He is only the cause for everything, but he is not anything in the sansar. Next time we will see how everyone is deluded by Maya and what do they do in this sansar. So today we saw how we can see Paramatma, but you don't see Paramatma in sansar, you see the vibhuti, the glory of Paramatma only. And everything in sansar is supported and sustained by Ishwar Shakti. And that Shakti is there to support and sustain. And that Shakti is different from sansar. It's not same as the sansar. So, Sri Krishna Namaste.